All right, it is exciting tonight. So we are on our community class, and everybody's going to be hopping on here pretty soon. It's your first community class.
Mm-hmm.
So probably is it your first Facebook Live?
Yes.
Yeah, and Zach does not have a Facebook page. I think he's supposed to have one, but I think you've never used it.
Okay.
Yeah, just not a Facebook kind of guy. You're not really big on texting either.
No.
You're great about just picking up the phone and calling people. You're just old school like that. So if you're joining us, I'm Nancy Bogart, owner and founder. This is Zach Bogart, my awesome plant manager, middle son. And so we're excited to be with you guys tonight. We have a whole list of frequently asked questions about our products, our ingredients. Zach is the plant manager, so he's been over all of the manufacturing. It's a great story. So I'm going to let you guys hop on here tonight and tell me where you live. Tell me where you're from. Oh, and Lucy joined us. So where'd she go? She is over there. The whole family's here tonight. I know the Chiefs are playing, so go Chiefs. So go ahead and tell me what city and state, hi Jacqueline, that you live in. So we have Pennsylvania. I live in Nixa. Zach lives in?
Battlefield.
Battlefield. That sounds... Battlefield, Missouri.
It's basically Nixa.
It is basically Nixa. It's a bedroom community.
It's cheaper.
Yeah. How long does it take for you to get to work?
15 minutes.
Yeah. I think it takes me
Exactly.
10 to get home, right? I love coming home for lunch and coming back to the works. Back to work, not the works. It's a long day.
Mm-hmm.
You started lifting weights recently. What time did you get up this morning?
4:30.
Yeah. So everybody, let's thank Zach for being here with us. Let's see if my camera will pick this up. Oop, there we go. Did you see that?
I did. I've never seen that before.
It does other things too. I can't remember how it does, like there's one that does this whole celebration one. So I can't remember what it was, but there's a couple of things you can do with it. I do know the heart one. I got that one because I heart you. So do it. They're all hopping on. There you go. How cute is that? Okay, so I want to get started tonight. You might be watching this in a VIP group. You might be watching this on replay. You might be here live and in person. Thank you guys so much for joining us. So Zach, we did a program at convention called Zach's Facts. And everybody wanted to know more facts about our products, how they're made. And Zach is the ingredient expert. So he started out with us. Goodness, how old were you?
I don't know if it's legal to say. I used to get dropped off after school, so probably around 14 was whenever I started helping out with trash and that kind of stuff.
Right. So, but he got his official job as a purchasing agent. So he was going in and buying our products, the ingredients. Thumbs up. Okay. Thumbs up. Let's see if it sees that. Okay, you guys are so helpful. So yeah, so he started as our purchasing agent. So he knew where to get the products, did the research on that, moved into formulating. And so for 10 years, he's been a really key part of our great products. So actually, I started making them in my kitchen for my kids, one of them here, out of the 4, so they would have great healthy ingredients. I could start my business from home. We made like soaps in the kitchen, all kinds of stuff, and Zach's still cooking up things with me.
Mm-hmm.
So tonight we're going to have some really fun, fast facts about our products. So I think what we'll start with, and we had some of our consultants share some of the questions. I think let's start with the Lotion bar, because it all started with the Lotion bar. And if you haven't seen the Lotion bar, it's a solid bar of lotion. It comes in this little tin. And we hand pour these.
Mm-hmm.
So we hand pour over 5 million of these bars. Zach hasn't poured them all. We've poured our fair share. So the question was, tell me about the shelf life of, oh, and by the way, Zach is Z-A-K. I don't know, it was one of those things I did as a mom. I like it. K is a strong letter. So thank you guys for all saying, hi, Zach. Z-A-K, Z-A-K-A-R-Y.
I remember that song well.
Mother's Son Night. Okay, so what is the shelf life of the Lotion bar?
So whenever it comes to a lotion bar, really what you're asking is what's the shelf life of beeswax? Mm-hmm. And the answer is a very, very long time. So whenever it comes down to it, one of really the only things that you would be able to call a preservative that we have in it's vitamin E, but for the most part, beeswax lasts for a very long time unless exposed to the elements. So as long as you're keeping it sealed inside the tin, it can last for years. Whenever it's out of the tin, I'd use it regularly, so I wouldn't be leaving it for more than 7 months. But if you're keeping it closed, it's for a very, very long time.
Well, I have some lotion bars that are 24 years old.
And I'm only 27.
No, that's true.
Or 28.
Yeah, you're 28 now.
Oh, goodness.
But once I open the lotion bar, actually mine lasts more than 7 months, even with the beeswax. So I've got some that have been open for a couple of years. Look, Gloria's got some with a couple years, you know, because I always have like 7 or 8 of them. So they do last a very long time. I know sometimes our consultants like to stock up on them, or like we had a fragrance that was discontinued. But when you use them every day, you'll use them up in about 7 to 12 months, depending on the size of your hands. So fun. Okay, so let's move to Dead Sea salt. How much Dead Sea salt do we use?
We use around 8,000 pounds a year. And whenever it comes down to how much we're using, the funny part is the vast majority of it's sold in around 2 to 4 weeks a year with our big 32-ounce sales. So during those, we'll go through 2,500 pounds in a week. It's wild to watch.
It is really fun. So the Dead Sea salt, though, we blend it with a few other things, and it's perfectly balanced. And Zach says that our Dead Sea salt is actually better for you than going to the Dead Sea. So tell us about that.
Whenever it comes to the Dead Sea, you're getting all the same chemicals that you're getting from Dead Sea salt for the most part. Whenever it comes down to what you're specifically getting, there's also something in there called bromide. And you might notice bromide on our label whenever we're describing the minerals that are in the Dead Sea salt. Bromide in Dead Sea salt is about 0.2%. It's not a lot, it's on there basically to tell people that it's in there. Whenever you're in the Dead Sea, you are actually getting more bromide than you're getting from the Dead Sea salt. So it actually has more bromide in it than any other large body of water known to man, as far as I know. So bromide, it can mess with your chemical receptors a bit, which is why it's used as an epileptic treatment. But unless you have epilepsy, I wouldn't be using a lot of bromide.
Well, and so it's perfectly balanced. We add our magic ingredient, which is magnesium. So why do we do that, and what happens to your Dead Sea salt with some magnesium in it?
So whenever you add more magnesium, obviously you get more magnesium. So whenever we're putting our bath flakes into the Dead Sea salt, you're just getting that much more magnesium for your buck. Whenever it comes down to it, magnesium chloride itself is about 25% magnesium. It's one of the higher doses of magnesium you're going to get in any sort of chemical makeup of magnesium. Dead Sea salt also has magnesium chloride in it, so you're basically just doubling up on it, which is very good for if you're very sore.
Right? You've been working out.
Yes.
And you also worked in construction before you came back to Jordan Essentials. And then his dad, Ron, ran a 50-mile race for his 50th birthday. I didn't go with him. But he soaked in the Dead Sea salt. We did make it by the bucket for him. But he swears that was the trick, right? Being able to soak, get the muscles, and really get them into the Dead Sea. You can use it as a foot soak. You can use it and get it and liquefy it and melt it down into some great magnesium for soaking elbows, whatever you want to use it for. So, but we love the Dead Sea salt. Thank you guys for the Dead Sea questions. You can ask any questions you want to. Doesn't mean we're going to be able to answer them tonight. We might have to come back. But the Dead Sea salt is an amazing, amazing product that we love to make. And it says, how do you keep them stored at the warehouse? Where do we put a ton of Dead Sea salt?
Very big bag.
It's a weird bag.
They're called a super sack. Or we get them in individual 50-pound bags. But on occasion we'll get a massive tote, which is around 2,000 pounds, I believe, off the top of my head. And as long as you keep it closed, you're not getting any moisture in there. Lasts for a very long time because it's a rock.
It's a rock.
It's a rock.
It's a rock in which our company is founded.
Mm-hmm.
And our warehouse is conditioned. It's air conditioned, it's heated, it's temperature controlled. A lot of times we'll be sure and get the HVAC guys from Gold Mechanical, little plug there, over to fix it, not for the people, but for the products and for the raw materials, because we want to keep everything in really balanced state. You don't want things to get sweaty or hot or frozen. So we keep that really, really balanced in there. But the Dead Sea salt's not too finicky. The tote looks like a big old Santa sack to me. It's always kind of funny. It's like this white plasticky thing. All right. So we did the lotion mark. All right. So let's talk about allergies, okay? So I know that I have celiac. Zach has a severe wheat allergy. Neither one of us do any gluten or wheat. And you have a good friend. I have two good friends that have alpha-gal. Mm-hmm. And so let's go ahead and hit the wheat issue first. So are our products gluten-free?
Yes. The answer is yes, because it's honestly pretty easy to be gluten-free, because all you have to do is avoid a couple of grains. So your barley, your rye, your wheat, as long as you're avoiding those, you're going to be okay. Whenever it comes to our products, one of the things you might be looking at if you're being conscious of the gluten is our oats, because oats also have gluten, but ours are rolled gluten-free oats. And that's about the only place that you'd be running into gluten in most formulations that we have.
Right, so there's no trace. I know that there are some companies with some formulas and they use wheat as a thickener. It's very inexpensive, it's cheap. It can also be pesticide. Our products and our ingredients are pesticide free. So as Zach is our purchasing agent, we have certain things we really want to look for.
I was our purchasing agent. Our purchasing agent's in the chat.
Yeah,
she might get offended.
She might up there. So Luke is awesome, and you trained her.
I did.
So it's great to see that full circle. We have a fantastic team. So that's gluten-free, and I cannot have any in any shape or form. So anybody who has celiacs, then you guys can come back with me. So alpha-gal is what?
Alpha-gal is a condition that is spread by ticks. So if you've ever heard of people becoming allergic to red meat, that's alpha-gal. And it's spread through ticks, which makes it very scary. And it's not a very pleasant time from a friend of mine who has had it for quite a bit, and he struggles with it daily. It's just not a fun time because alpha-gal hides in a lot of different products. So you can't really get anything from mammals, so meat, dairy, all that kind of stuff out of the question for the most part. But where it's very tricky is a lot of the vegan alternatives will also have alpha-gal in it because it's carried in a couple of strains of seaweed, actually, that is used as an alternative in a lot of vegan products. Carrageenan, I believe, is the name of one of them, as well as them being found in tuna eggs, I believe, or marlin eggs, one of the two. Some fish egg, really weird. But whenever it comes to our products, since you're not getting a lot of animal products, you don't really have to worry about the alpha-gal. We're not using it, and we don't use carrageenan in any of our products that I know of, at the very least.
No, you would know.
I would know for the most part. There are some...
You're the gatekeeper for the ingredient.
There are some formulations that predate me, but for the most part, I'm very confident that we don't use any carrageenan or anything like that. And alpha-gal spreading, it's not a fun time, so make sure you're checking yourself for ticks.
Yes, check yourself for ticks. And so beeswax in the products, you know, that's, so we're, you know, animal free, cruelty free. So the beeswax though, is that okay for alpha-gal?
Yes, so bees do not make the protein that is alpha-gal. Alpha-gal is named after the protein you're allergic to. And whenever it comes to beeswax, you're not going to have any sort of reaction from that. It isn't technically vegan, but whenever it comes to beeswax, synthetic beeswaxes are called synthetic beeswax, or it's like 18 different ingredients that I don't really like the look of for the most part. And bees and humans have a pretty cohabiting relationship. Symbiotic relationship. It's been a long day. So I'm always very happy to be working with beeswax, natural beeswax.
It's a great natural byproduct. It's a renewable resource, and no bees are harmed in the making of our beeswax. And we keep a lot of farmers going. So let's talk about something a little bit different now. Let's talk about fragrance. That is always a hot button. So I love our fragrances, and the problem with fragrances are phthalates. And so what's a phthalate?
A phthalate is a chemical that
they use it to bind together the fragrances. There's so many new, more modern ways to do that without using the cheap phthalates. And I found our vendor that we've been using for probably close to 20 years now, and we've been phthalate free. I don't think we were the first 5 years, but then they came out with this alternative. So we pick our fragrances from our fragrance house, and it is phthalate free. So phthalates can be hormone disruptors. They do all kinds of things to your body. They build up in your endocrine system. So when people say fragrances are bad, they mean phthalates are bad. And so we have a great relationship with our fragranteur. If you prefer, you can always do it. I'm the NAHA certified aromatherapist. You can choose our essential oil blends versus a blend like the Almond and Honey, which is a fragrance, not an essential oil. But we have plenty of essential oils if you prefer that. And then, of course, like my favorite is the Copaiba blend with the Copa Calm, and I helped formulate this. So I came up and I did all the notes as the NAHA certified aromatherapist. So is Marion Smith. Thanks for being here tonight, Marion. We come up with this. Marion and I really geek out on that. And then Zach makes the formula. He does the base note, the middle note, the higher note. He puts it together, and then he puts it back into our products in the proper blend. So you'll find that great blends in there.
There is a step of me running around the building having people smell it, as many people as I can get, so that they give me their feedback. It's fun working at Jordan Essentials, mostly because I'll just come up and ask you to try out a new product.
Yeah, and I don't think because we have naturally based products, non-toxic, that we need to go ahead and demonize fragrances. And I know a lot of people have done that. I love our fragrances. We can do some fun things with it. And I still put my stamp of approval that they're healthy and safe for the whole family.
And one thing to keep in mind with fragrance oils or flavor oils, one of the reasons that you don't really have a name for it like you do with beeswax, like Sarah Alba and all that kind of stuff, is because the FDA's found that the chemicals that are used to produce these products aren't important enough to need to be listed out, and they're usually proprietary. So even if I wanted to figure out, for the most part, I probably couldn't. I know most of the chemicals that are in there for the most part from the SDS sheets. So those I can check, and no phthalates in any of them. But for the most part, you're not gonna find any product that uses fragrance where they're telling you exactly what it is, unless it's essential oils.
Yeah, the essential oils, we list those out, each one, especially for allergies. So yeah, so that's kind of a fun answer too. So I know that's been a big marketing hoop-de-doo, and I just don't want to give up really great products that reach the masses of people that they love. So let's go to that next special topic, preservatives. It is
phenoxyethanol.
Phenoxyethanol. I've always said it differently, so I'm getting a little bit wrong. So we are paraben free. Paraben is the endocrine disruptor. It's known. It's been found in breast tissue from cancer patients. We're aluminum free, paraben free. But we need to preserve our products. You don't want to buy a product and then it becomes moldy. Mold is very harmful to you. So we chose a. Why don't you tell them about the EWG?
So whenever it comes to what's good and what's bad, there's a lot of research to be done. And so you can look at a lot of well-documented papers, all that kind of stuff, or you can shortcut it because there's a website called EWG. And on EWG, they do all that research for you. And they rank things from verified to 9. And on that scale, verified to 2 is the green zone. That's the ingredients that you're going to want. Everything in moderation, though, for the most part. 3 to about 6 is your orange zone. Sometimes you'll have things that fluctuate between the two depending on what you use it in. So some things, if it's in the air, if you're using an aerosol, if you're using a spray, you don't want to have that ingredient in there and it'll be a 5. But if you're using it in something solid like a lotion bar, it'll be a 1 or a 2. Because really what it will do is affect your lungs, but it won't affect your skin.
Oh, how do we do that?
Maybe it's the hands.
Good job. Good job. But our phenoxyethanol is a 1. So it's a 1 preservative, and I don't know how many of you have bought a product from a company that's all natural. And because we say we're naturally based on toxic, clean skincare and personal care products, so based with essential oils and magnesium. But it's a 1, and you're safe for not getting mold and in your products, and throwing all that away isn't very affordable either. So they will use, like in the beeswax. The beeswax itself is antibacterial, all that kind of stuff, and vitamin E, so we don't put anything in there. You know, soaps don't need it. But being smart. Now, I know a lot of people scroll social media. You don't, because you're never on there. But they'll go through social media, and then they're like, hey, this is bad. If it's a site advertising something, skip it, head to EWG. If you want to go research all of our ingredients one by one, knock yourself out. If you have allergies, then I would, because I have a lot. I have an EpiPen. I have very sensitive skin. The fact that I can even use our products is amazing. So I used to get migraines so bad. Oh my goodness. So your dad wasn't able to make it to Pilates. And so somebody was in the bed next to me, and for perfume, I'm like, I'm not going to make it. It was one of those. You know, and it just, I had a migraine before I left. But
Cranberry's another one.
Yeah, so there's just certain things I can't do. That's me. It doesn't mean it's bad. I mean, if you like jalapenos, great. I have an EpiPen for jalapenos. But our products overall, we're going to do that low EWG. We're going to make the best, most popular formulas that everybody in America can use, the whole family can use. It's so great. So the other question we get, probably one of our most FAQs, SLS, SLES. Do you want to do that one? That's fun.
Absolutely. Okay, so SLS. Here's the thing about it, is for the most part, it's an irritant. So whenever you're seeing things that are all like SLS free, great, awesome. Whenever it comes to what SLS does, is it changing the world not having SLS in your soaps? No, not really. But it's keeping more people from having irritated, rough skin, which is a positive. Whenever it comes to SLES, it is not SLS. SLES is sodium laureth sulfate. And what it is it's an alternative to SLS that is less irritating. It is exactly what you're looking for, because SLS plays an important part in soap unless you're using a better ingredient like SLES.
Made from coconut.
Made from coconut, derived, and yeah, that's pretty much the whole talk on SLS.
I don't know if you're like, I thought it was SLS or SL. You got to read into it, because these are chemical names. Sodium laureth, sodium lauryl, all that kind of stuff. So let's talk about our soap, shall we? Because it's probably one of your favorite products.
Yep, charcoal soap.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite.
I've used it on my hair. Wouldn't suggest it, but it worked.
Yeah, so fun. And the charcoal, tell me about the charcoal in the charcoal soap.
So our charcoal is derived from coconut husks, and they are burnt to a crisp. That's why you're going to see activated carbon as the ingredient on that most often, is because it's carbon that's been activated with fire. Whenever we're getting it, it's a very fine powder. I could not probably tell you a number low enough for how much charcoal's in a single bar, because it just permeates everything. Somebody asked me if I could change the color of charcoal soap. The answer is no. It's a great aggregate without being too aggressive. It's without being, it'll take things off your skin without taking your skin with it.
I know, it's so good. Especially this one is good for armpits, detoxifying, stinky teenage boy feet. You can use it as a facial cleanser. I like to take a bar with me when I travel, so I've got a great facial wash and body wash. It's awesome. What's your favorite ingredient?
Glycerin.
And what's in the soap?
Glycerin.
Right, and why do you like glycerin?
Because it's everything you're looking for in skincare for the most part. Whenever I did my certification in Formulation, that one of the things that they wanted to impart upon me is the benefits of glycerin. And a lot of things are, one of the things you want to watch out for is where it's derived. And ours is vegetable glycerin, which is exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah, and it's a natural humectant, so it holds the moisture in your skin too. And I think guys like bars of soap. You got your hairier, bigger pores, yeah, furry fellas. And the shower gel with the aloe is just a little quite not what they're looking for too.
And also with stuff that's really hard to get off, like iron dust, if you're dealing with a lot of pipes and stuff like that, like I was back when I worked in construction, I haven't found anything that gets it off easier without like tearing up my hands, which I've done, but yeah. I don't suggest it.
Yeah, so that construction, my brother has a farm and they're always working out on the, he likes getting about 10 bars of soap on his birthday, which is next week. I better load him up again, right? Okay, so when doing formulation, how do you decide what products we're going to make?
It is a group effort. And for the most part, Nancy tells me what she wants, and I make it. I make things happen is my slogan, aside from I make soap, which is my other slogan. So for the most part, I don't think there have been a couple that have been just, I thought it would be cool, but we have a whole team of people in marketing who are brilliant and have great ideas. Luca's one of them. She's in the chat there. She's had some great ideas.
Marion's had some great ideas.
Marion
loves Copaiba.
I work with 2 NAHA certified aromatherapists, so they have great ideas for what the essential oil should be. And basically my job is making it all work together and not break apart or turn to cottage cheese, which happens sometimes.
Hi, I'm Zach and I make soap.
Yep.
I'm going to get in that shirt before convention next year for sure. So we love the glycerin. So let's talk about shea butter. So shea butter is a great ingredient. So tell us about the shea nut and the shea butter.
So whenever it comes to shea butter, there are really 2 different kinds whenever you're talking about our company. You have the shea butter that's cream, and then there's the shea butter that's a wax. And the difference isn't that vast because the shea butter that's a wax is in the shea butter that's a cream. And that's one of the things that makes it shea butter. The waxy form makes it great for mixing it with other waxes like beeswax, which is how we make our sticks. It's also got the ultra refined shea butter, which is the full name for it is ultra refined. You don't want just refined. Your lotion bars, all that kind of stuff. And with our shea butter, adding more of that is part of what makes it thicker than regular lotions. So you're getting a little bit more shea for your buck. And Nancy really likes the trivia on the shea nut tree. I don't really remember it off the top of my head very well, so I'll let her take that part.
So the shea is a nut, like a coconut. Of course, we obviously love the coconut. But it's a nut from the carite tree. And the carite tree has to be 50 years old to be able to harvest the nuts to make them into the raw shea butter before it becomes a lotion form. So we want fair trade. We want it to come, directly from Africa, obviously as a raw material, come through our vendors, and then it's ultra refined, so it's ready for you guys to use. So we love shea butter. Ashy skin, dry skin, we put it in our Skin Relief, which is one of our best-selling products. We put it in our Helio. So our hand and body lotion is a little bit different, but it still has a little bit of shea butter in it because you gotta have the butter. We like the butter. So let's talk about our family. No, let's not talk about our family, but let's talk about family-friendly products. So safe for the whole family, and why would you think, okay, we're making our products, why would you say we would be considered a family-friendly company for skincare?
Well, whenever we're talking about what can go on what, it's really what has an adverse reaction whenever it's added to what. So if you have SLS and you add it to your skin, you can have irritation. That's why we don't use it. And that's really the basis of most of it, is if there's an ingredient that's shown to cause a lot of irritation, if there's an ingredient that's shown to cause allergic reactions, we avoid them. And sometimes there are ingredients that do that if you add too much of it. And so that's a lot of where I come in, where I'm using the proper amounts of ingredients. Because if you have like enough salt, it's gonna hurt to scrub it into your skin unless you have the safflower oil, the castor oil, all that kind of stuff mixed in there that makes it salt scrub instead of just table salt. And one of the ways I know that our products are good for us is because they were tested on me as a child.
All my kids. Yeah. You never test on animals though, not Corky.
And we all have great skin. It's fantastic.
It is good. So that measurement and the balance, and Zachary being a certified cosmetic formulator, we have a great team you work with, but we also have like some great equipment. So we have a scale, and so our recipes don't look like a teaspoon or a tablespoon. How are we measuring that? And of course, you make the formula, right? And we have a software that does that. So how do you know those percentages, and how does that get measured?
So whenever it comes down to it, what you're looking at is what percentage of a product can be a certain ingredient. So whenever you're looking at your, the ones that keep them clean, that's a weird way to phrase that. Our preservatives. I've been up since 4:30.
I thank you for coming tonight.
No problem. Our preservatives, if you're adding 10, 20% of it, it's not going to be good for you. So whenever you're looking at the ingredients, there are a lot of people who have done great work in telling you how much of an ingredient you should use. And that's really one of the things that I'm doing in the day-to-day, is making sure we're staying within those parameters while receiving the product that we're looking for. So your shea butter stays thick, your lotion stays the lotion consistency, and nothing turns into cottage cheese. I like that analogy. It works pretty well. And whenever it comes down to it, what you're looking at is the percentages in the products. So that's what our formulations generally look like, is it's this percent of this, this percent of this, this percent of this. And then whenever you have a number that you want to make, it pops it all out for you.
Perfectly balanced to 100%.
Well, not for you, for Anna and Mallory, our two manufacturers.
They do the start point, so they've got the quality control. These two gals are awesome. They've been with us a couple years, and Zach helped train them, and they are the most conscientious team I think we've ever had. And then Zach set up this great SOP, standard operating procedures. Our products are made, they're consistent, they're beautiful, and they go over to packaging. And over in packaging, God love Zach, his sister's there, and about 25% of that team are people with different abilities. So we make our products so we're making a difference. So what we do is we make sure they have a job, everybody's a contributing member of society, they're chattering away. Anya is the chattiest person, you can hear her from outside. But they're working and loving and having fun. Then it goes over and gets received in. Hilda's worked for us for 14 years. She leads that department for order fulfillment, goes down the line. That's probably our best team we've ever had too, over in order fulfillment ever. The culture is fantastic. We have fun, we work hard, we're diligent, driven, learning, optimistic team players out there, and that's because of this guy. He does a great job. So he's watching your formulas, he's watching our formulas. I'm super proud of our products, so it's nice that the next generation. Thanks for working with me, Zach.
Happy to help.
All right, let's give everybody a few hearts. We're done for the night. So let's see if we can both do it. There's mine. Did yours come? Here, do that again. Oh, there we go. I wish they did it at the same time. All right, good night, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you, Zach. I love you and appreciate you. Bye, everybody.